Hello all you Pixel people, my name is Pixel, and with the Overwatch Open Beta firmly underway, I have decided to put together a quick little beginner's guide to dealing with them pesky Torbjorns and Bastions. Having spent a fair bit of time looking over the forums, it has become very apparent that a great number of the new players seem to be having issues when it comes to dealing with turrets. In fact, there are a surprising number of threads dedicated to calling out both Torbjorn and Bastion as overpowered heroes. Now, don't worry, I think most of us as players have had to break through this roadblock at some point or another when it comes to learning the game, and hopefully these few basic pointers should make things a little bit easier for you guys out there. And because I understand that an awful lot of players are going to be playing solo and without communication, I'll be trying to focus on the techniques that with a little bit of practice you should be able to pull off on your own, or at most with maybe just one other player. So let's get straight to it. As it stands right now, one of the strongest and simplest ways to deal with a turret is just having a Reinhardt on your team. Torbjorn turrets do very little damage to the shield, whereas Bastions on the other hand, especially up close, can take it down in a matter of seconds, so making sure that both you and your team put as much damage down range in the shortest amount of time possible is very important. Soldier 76 and Farah are both great at this job, but really, most heroes are plenty capable of getting the job done. Now, let's just say that you are the Reinhardt on your team and you're trying to lead your newbie teammates into a position where they can shoot down the turrets but they're just not taking the bait. What do you do? Well, thankfully, Reinhardt's pin, his shift ability if you don't know what I'm talking about, is great versus Torbjorn's turrets and Bastions. What a lot of people don't seem to realise is that the pin ability will stun a Torbjorn turret for a short period of time, meaning that you can go for that fire strike or that hammer swing without taking any damage. It's also worth noting that dashing into a Bastion will simply pin him like any other hero. However, when you do go up against a Bastion, you'll need to make sure that you're picking the shortest route possible. And try and make sure that the Bastion is at least a little bit distracted to increase your chances of landing the pin. However, what if you don't want to play Reinhardt and neither does your team? Well, it should not be too much of a problem since there are still many other options that you have at your disposal. For instance, McCree's flashbang will stun both a Torbjorn turret and a Bastion, follow it up with a quick fan of the hammer and you should be laughing. Genji has his deflect ability that really does wreck a Bastion if he's not paying attention or does not react in time. Genji also has the ability to dash through an enemy Bastion, forcing him to turn around and deal with you. If they don't turn around, you wreck him from behind, and if he does turn around, hopefully your team should be able to wreck him from behind. Sure, it's high risk and high reward, but with a fairly skilled Genji, it should be fairly reliable. Mei is also a fairly decent pick versus both forms of turrets. Her right click is perfect for getting that damage down at long range, and interestingly, something that many people don't seem to have realised at this point is her freeze spray is actually able to freeze a Torbjorn turret just like a normal player. It's pretty cool, but honestly I'm still not too sure how effective it really is. Mei's strength really comes from being able to use her ice block ability to break a turret's line of sight and absorb some of that damage. She's also very good to be able to jump in front of a turret and use her heal ability to buy a little bit of time while blocking the turret's line of sight to her friendly teammates. Roadhog is also a very decent pick in both situations. While he has no really cool ability when it comes to dealing with Torbjorn, he does have the health pool and the self heal to tank an awful lot of that turret's damage. When using a Roadhog versus a Bastion, providing that you can close the distance, you can simply hook him and fill him with scrap and a quick left hook. I mean, I absolutely love playing Roadhog when going versus turrets. I just think it's easy mode. It's one of the best heroes to take down turrets with. Characters like Farah and Junkrat in particular are capable of consistently putting down chip damage, and mostly without exposing themselves. This is great for dealing with them turrets in them really hard to reach places. What we have mentioned so far are just a few of the common ways to handle turrets, and there are still many more options available to you, such as spamming the turrets with Symmetra balls, blocking damage and flying in with Diva, getting some really nice scatter arrows with Hanzo, and the good old Tracer sticky bomb to the face to name a few. Also, needlessly to say, flanking is seriously your friend, and learning the maps will also help you out greatly. I suppose the only problem that some people are going to have with this is that they are going to need to change their hero or playstyle. Believe me, I know how tempting it can be to try and main one hero, but unless you're communicating with a full team of 6 and they are willing to work around you, you are going to have to simply get used to swapping things up, or you will likely lose again and again. One of the things that also pops up quite often is the stacking of turrets and bastions. Yes, I know just how frustrating multiple turrets can be to play against, but what you need to remember is that this game is a 6 versus 6, and in order to stack them turrets, the enemy team has had to make some sacrifices when it comes to some of the other roles and heroes. So don't be afraid to run what may seem like a crazy composition in order to make sure that you get the job done. Just bring up the scoreboard and see what your enemy team is running and find a weakness in that lineup and abuse it. Take it nice and slow, pick off 1 or 2 turrets at a time and get a foothold on the map, because generally turret heavy defense lineups trade off that maneuverability and the amount of time it takes to get back into a fight once killed for that defensive strength. So rather than going for an all out team wipe, focus on pushing them back to a place where they are no longer effective at defending the objective. In higher MMR matches, turret strats are considered very high risk. In fact, once you've got a better understanding of the game and start increasing your MMR, you will start to notice that you will rarely face turret heavy lineups because honestly, they just kind of suck. Before signing off this video, I also want to mention one quick thing that I'm guessing most of you already know about, and that is Bastion's weak spot. While he's in turret mode, he has this big blue power core on his back which acts like a headshot hitbox, meaning that you can deal so much more damage when shooting it, so try and go for that whenever you get behind him. And finally, since I know that this is bound to show up in the comments if I don't quickly mention it, Reinhardt protecting the turrets with his shield. Now, unless he's on attack where it is really effective, you just need to destroy the shield or get a decent flank on the go. Try and see this more of a delaying strat rather than making the overall comp much stronger. It just takes a little more time to be able to destroy the shield, so take your time, get your footing, and you should be okay. Anyway, I think that's really all there is to say on dealing with turrets without going super deep into it, and I could do that, but I think that's when you start needing some proper teamwork and comms and all that kind of good stuff. At the end of the day, you'll become so much more effective at breaking the turret defense given a little bit of time and practice. And once you do manage it, you will likely see it much less than you do now as a new player because things are simply better than it. Like, for instance, I'm still trying to figure out how to break a godlike Widowmaker defense. So anyway, I think that's going to be me done for today, guys. So if you are new to the channel, please do consider slapping that subscribe button for some more PC gaming goodness. And as always, do be sure to like this video if you did like this video. Also, be sure to leave your tips and tricks on dealing with turrets in the comment section below. I have been Pixel, and until next time, bye bye.